Join the conversation on how Orange County Supervisor of Elections Glen Gilzean is revolutionizing democracy with a budget that bolsters voter outreach, education, and cybersecurity, setting a new standard for election integrity. Can never get enough of that. You can't make this
Oh
shit
yeah.
up. Welcome to another episode. Your host, David Washington, Joel Hawksley, and we are here to discuss something that is really, truly getting like I'm getting goosebumps whenever I hear different things that are coming out of the supervisor's office in Orange County. So, in a groundbreaking move, Orange County Supervisor of Elections Glen Gilzean he's unveils a budget that prioritizes voter outreach, education, and cybersecurity with a focus on protecting election integrity. Gilzean allocates resources to implement advanced cybersecurity measures. Absolutely amazing. Community leaders praise the proposal, recognizing its significance and honoring democracy and ensuring every voice is heard. Supervisor Gilzean's budget sets a new standard for electoral efficiency, community engagement, and fiscal responsibility, marking a pivotal moment in Orange County's election landscape. So, David, we have changed supervisors now, and we have an appointed supervisor that is not going to just sit there and keep the seat warm.
Amen to that. And bravo to our new supervisor of elections, Glen Gilzean. And this move towards cybersecurity, increasing cybersecurity measures is phenomenal. I love it. We recently had the supervisor and his staff member, Byron. I believe Byron is in charge of community outreach and at County Watch several Saturdays ago at the beginning of May. And it was great to hear some of the initiatives that the supervisor just recently publicized by the media. And the focus on cybersecurity is phenomenal. I love it. I love it. With the growing threats of cyber attacks and data breaches, the trust in the integrity of the vote has become more and more of a concern, regardless of which side of the political spectrum you're on. So this is a nonpartisan issue. This is an issue. An issue that should be addressed. It should always be addressed because our vote is important to us. It is our civic duty to vote and to protect that vote. Doing what the supervisor of elections is doing now is great. I hope the budget requests will be granted.
Well, I'm really excited about this, but what really gets me is you 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 see he has a tour with Bill Cowles. He looked at the place and you know actually spoke to the prior supervisor of elections, and he saw a quick fix with that opening the absentee ballots. You can sit and watch that, and there's always been cameras on the actual people doing that process. And he says, why don't we make that available for everybody? So you can live stream at the actual watching of the ballots being opened.
Mhm.
Incredible. These are the thinking out of the box types things that we talk about all the time.
I agree. And the more confidence that voters have, the more confidence that our elected officials have, the more confidence that we all have in this security of our vote, perhaps, perhaps more people will be engaged to vote and more people will be willing to exercise their right to vote and to have community leaders talk about this in their communities and say, hey, these are the new possibilities. And what Glen Gilzean is offering is the public more transparency,
Hmm.
and also more security.
So, is there anything negative that you see at all from what's happening in the supervisor's office? I mean, because there was a cringe factor that I felt across Orange County on the
Mm-hmm.
Democrat side when Glenn was the one that was brought in, but we had called it a long time ago. Do you think that there's still going to be issues with the Democrats there?
There's always going to be issues. The position is held by Glen Gilzean. It's an elected position. It's a constitutional position, and a Democrat and or a Republican or anyone in between could be elected to that. It is a partisan election, and so having a supervisor of elections with such close ties to Governor DeSantis and also not a Democrat is a concern for the Democrats. My recommendation to the Democrats that I spoke to is establish a relationship with the supervisor.
Hmm.
Establish a stronger relationship than the one that you've had in the past with former supervisor of elections, Bill Cowles.
Hmm.
Get to know Mr. Glazine, get to know his staff, work on your relationships. Now, because Supervisor Glazine was appointed by the governor, there is a current election going on, and that person will be elected to start office in December. So this could be temporary. However, qualifying for Supervisor of Elections election, it's not over until June 14th. So
Hmm.
there is some time as of this recording.
Yeah. Do you think that there'll be have you been watching the fundraising on the Democrat side to see if there's going to be people that won't qualify?
No, to be
No, I'm
honest,
not.
no,
Okay.
because I mean, if they haven't started fundraising and they haven't made great strides early when they started filing, when they first filed with their intent to run for office, that's an indication to me that they're serious.
Hmm.
And there are going to be candidates who will be able to self fund part or all of their campaign. There are some who are some of the candidates like Kester Dental, K- KCD. She's a consummate politician. She knows how to fundraise. The money will ride for her. There are some candidates who are more grassroots, like Cynthia Harris. Full transparency, we did an interview with candidate Cynthia Harris, and hopefully that will be published soon.
Hmm.
With her campaign, it's more grassroots. She's well known, and very little money will go a long distance for her. Um, it's running for the whole county is expensive.
Hmm.
And right now, there's one candidate that I see besides the two that I've already mentioned, who is actually putting in a lot of the footwork, especially getting petition signatures. And that's former Orange County Democratic Executive Committee President or Chair Wes Hodge. I've seen him in different events where he's collecting petitions. So it's likely that knowing Wes and
Hmm.
the hard work that he puts into this, he'll qualify by petition. But again, I still think that this is an open race, and this gives the current supervisor of elections until June, the middle of June, to file his intent to run to keep the seat as an elected instead of an
Hmm.
appointed official.
Now, David, you mentioned the petition process to get on to the ballot, and that comes to a close prior to that deadline, correct?
That's correct. It's approximately a month before qualifying officially closes. So if the qualifying period officially closed June 14th, applying or qualifying by petition closed earlier this week. We're in the week of May 17th, so several days ago. To qualify by petitions, you need your petitions in by the 14th, if I remember correctly, 13th or the 14th of
Now,
May.
now because we want to be let people know um, that this process. What do you feel like petition gatherers? Do you feel they have a better um, does it reflect better on them than those that pay, or is it just, you know, a feather in the cap, you know?
So I'll answer that question twofold. One, from the perspective as a campaign consultant, the other from the perspective as a regular Joe, a
Mhm.
regular David out there on the street, a voter
Okay.
here in Central Florida. From the perspective of a voter, this one's easy. They're not watching. They don't care whether you qualify by, swimming the English Channel or by petition or paying the fee.
Mhm.
They're not paying attention to that. By the sheer fact that your name is going to be on the ballot, most voters presume that you're qualified to run for that position. Again, it's up to the voters to do your own damn research.
Mhm.
So that's from the perspective of the voter. From the perspective of a campaign consultant, if you start early enough, and have an organized plan, gathering petition signatures is ideal. Not only if you do this correctly, yes, correctly, there's a wrong way, there's a wrong way, there's a
Mhm.
fucked up way, and then there's the right way of collecting petition signatures. If you do this correctly, you're identifying who your potential voters are for that particular election that you're facing, that you're going to be in, whether it's the primary, which likely is the primary, and not the general. You're identifying who is likely to vote in that election, and you're targeting those voters by going to their front door, their driveways, their front yards, their communities, and getting your first touch in by asking for their petition signature.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that they're going to vote for you, but it does mean that they were willing to be invested in the election, so they're most likely going to be a voter. Um, that's a great. I'm glad that you share that. I don't think a lot of people realize you should get in early if you're
Mhm.
planning on getting in by petition. And petition gathering is a relationship building. It's just like you can't win these elections without knocking on doors. If you think you can, I'm going to guarantee you somebody out there knocking doors is going to knock you out because it doesn't matter how much money you spend. If those doors are knocked, somebody gets to meet you, gets to meet one of your workers, and gives the phone number out. You are golden. That's what people want. They'll say, "Oh, I don't want soliciting. I don't want this. I don't want that." If you meet the voter where they're at, they will love you for it. And that's all I can say. So thank you very much, David, for this great conversation. Um, I know that you usually have some closing words, um,
Yes,
and if you want to share them, or I can share them
yes.
because you have them already here. So
It's a little bit of a prediction. We did predict that then I guess he was chairman of the the Central Florida Tourism District, formerly known as the Reedy Creek Tourism Board, that governed Disney. Uh, we did predict that he would become the supervisor of elections.
Mhm.
I think we're looking at, if not our next supervisor of elections here in Orange County, we may be looking at the next mayor of Orange County.
You heard it here. Like, share, subscribe. Get in Glenn's ear if he doesn't, if you haven't already, because I have. I want him to run. But listen,
Yes, he has.
I think that he's got a great answer for that too if you ask him. So please like, share, and you can't make this shit up.
See you the next time.